Well, hello there, I'm Détroit. In a previous video, I teased this idea. I said I wanted to draw a character, but with an aspect of randomization. In the video, I said I would use a d20 to decide which body part to draw. That's what I'm doing today. But instead of a d20, which would be harder for me to film and edit, I decided to use a wheel to spin for body parts. And so I have this colorful wheel with my 20 prompts. By the way, in total I ended up spinning the wheel 50 times, so stay until the end to see each part appear on this strange character we're designing. Also, subscribe for part 2 next week. As I said, the wheel has 20 body parts. I won't read all of it in one go, so here's the list if you want to pause the video to read it. Now, you may notice there are 2 prompts on there that aren't body parts, and I'll tell you about them in a minute, when they come into play. For now, since the drawing has already started, let's go over the beginning of the process. Everything I'm doing is on a single layer. This means that once a body part has been drawn, I can't remove it. I can change it or adapt it, but it will stay until the end. Before the first roll, I did have a basic shape on screen first. I had a bean-like shape as a base because most body parts would make more sense on something instead of in the void. The bean shape is a good shape because it can pass as a head or a torso, and depending on the first roll, I could have a direction to start. That's what I did, since the first roll was an ear. Naturally, the bean shape then became a head on which to draw said ear. But then the second roll had me draw a leg, and so we already have something weird, i.e. a leg and an ear on a bean shape. And that is why using a randomizer to decide what to draw is such a cool idea. I would never have come up with such a strange design otherwise. The third and fourth spins both were body hair, so I added a large mustache and a unibrow that could pass as a mustache in case I had to draw 2 mouths. After that came a foot, which is good because I already had a leg. Now, I should mention that arm and leg are both things I used a loose definition for. For example, this leg I added a knee to, but later I draw an arm that has just the upper arm part. That's because one of the 20 prompts is joints, which forces me to break up a shape in 2 and add a joint. And because I don't know at this point how likely it is to spin the joint prompt, depending on what I feel looks better, I have some leniency for arms and legs. The 6th prompt I roll is a special one. By that I mean it's literally the special category. This is a fun spin that forces me to roll a second different wheel. On this second wheel, you only find 12 things that aren't found on a normal human, such as tail, robotic parts, scars, claws, apparent bones, a horn, a wing, a fin, a bump, a bone spur, webbing, and a through hole. The latter one, a hole, is what I rolled for the 6th prompt, and so I had to make a hole in the middle of the face, since that is the only thing on the screen almost at this point. To go a bit faster, prompts 7 to 10 had me draw a mouth under the mustache, a nail, which I thought would be funny on the forehead since the whole bean shape looks like a thumb, then a second nail which I put to the side of the head to avoid crowding the central space a bit too much. The 10th prompt is a second ear, which mirrors the first one but on the inside of the hole in the middle. Number 11 was a harder one. It's a hand, but at this point I don't have a dangling arm or something to put it on, so I just stuck a very large hand below the ear. I started to draw fingers, but then I remembered fingers have their own prompt, so I only kept the thumb. Number 12 was some body hair below the ear, and number 13 is another special prompt. Claws this time, so the fingerless hand now has some sharp pointy claws. 14 is teeth, which I added to the mouth that was already there. Simple, right? 15 is joints, so I decided to turn the thin band of flesh left of the hole into an elbow. Right after that, at number 16, I finally spun the clothing prompt. Just like the special wheel, the clothing prompt spawns a wheel to decide between glasses, shirt, pants, socks, jewelry, and a hat. Quite nicely, what I got was pants. So now this strange creature has a one-legged jean shorts below its inexistent chin. 17 is yet another fingernail. Note that we don't have any fingers yet, by the way, and we still have 3 separate nails. This one is added on the elbow of the left of the face, much smaller than the other 2. I mean, this drawing is completely off the rails, so size doesn't matter anymore. 18 is an arm, and this is where I decided I would benefit better from just an upper arm coming right above the large hand. And we just turned it into a leg with prompt number 19, then adding a knee and a shin to the upper arm. So far, we had to wait until prompt 20 to add a window into the soul of this magnificently deformed and terrifying creature. Yes, ladies and gents, prompt 20 is an eye that I purposefully placed slanted in the middle of what remains of the starting bean shape. 21 is another clothing prompt, this time with a shirt. Since I have an arm on what might be a face, even though I'm not sure, the shirt has one sleeve hole and two neck holes. Whatever. Prompt 22 is body hair, which I already had 3 of. Instead of another mustache, I used this opportunity to give the eye some lashes. Prompt 23 is also hair, but normal hair this time, and not body hair. So now this thumb person has a beautiful mane of hair along their back. For number 24, I added the third ear by placing it on the calf of the bottom leg. 25 is a fold of skin on the side of the face just above the eye, and 26 can finally terminate this strange leg arm by adding a finger at the end. Just after, for 27, we get a head, which finally allows us to add another body part on which to draw stuff. So now we have a new head in place of the right knee. 28, this head now has an ear. 29, the lone finger now has a friend. 30, the second head can finally have what it needed the most, teeth. By this point, we have long since passed the middle of this drawing process, and yet there are so many more opportunities to fuck this guy up. For example, with 31, another random skin fold. The second head's forehead is now a roll of fat. Oh, and would you look at that? 32 is another fold, so let's split the calf of the raised leg into a nice plump fat roll too. 33 is the 5th iteration of body hair, so the second head needs a beard. Prompt 34 was a harder one to do. You see, I didn't know where to put another leg. Why not have it go out of the jeans from the same leg hole? Because I can't change the jeans too much. I can't add another pant leg, but I can make the bottom larger to accommodate a second knee and a calf. 35 is another joint, so it's time we turn the second head's already bad forehead into a very wide knee. And right after that, 36 forces me to spin the special wheel to add a hole in the middle of this wide neck. 37 is the gazillionth body hair, up there in the fold of the second head. 38 is a single eye for the second head, and 39 is a nail, which looks good on the nailless finger dangling on the bottom right of the picture. Finally, 40 is the hand that goes to the bottom left at the end of the leg. I say finally because this is where the process would have stopped normally. Since I had 40 prompts already, why not go to 50 and make it a rounder number? However, since I was tired of drawing 75 nails and at least 1 million legs and body hair, I removed some items of the wheel I had too many of. I also removed most of the clothing options because I didn't know where I would put more shirts or pants, and for the special wheel thing, I think the only thing I removed was the fold prompt. And this is how I got the final 10 body parts to make it more exciting. 41 is a nose. I can't believe we don't have one yet. So many counts of body hair and only one nose, which sits perfectly on top of the second head. 42 is a foot, which looks very small at the end of the finger at bottom right. 43 is a set of glasses, so now the Cyclops on the right has a better vision. Number 44 is a tongue. Can you believe it's been on the wheel this whole time and we never landed on it before? It's like the nose all over. Thankfully, I have a very large mouth that has been waiting to get the ability of taste. Going to 45, maybe the one prompt I liked the less in the entire drawing, since, in my opinion, it arrived too late. A bone spur. Let's put that on the bottom left knee and never talk about it again. 46 is much more interesting because it allows us to fill a bit of the top left negative space on the canvas. A wing breaks the long straight empty space left of the head. And make it a bat-like wing, because why not? 47 is webbing. Not gonna lie, I wanted the special wheel to have 12 prompts, but I could only think of 11, so webbing was a last-minute addition. But now, the character has webbed holes, a webbed knee, and a couple more webbing parts. All of the webbed parts count as one, I just decided. 48 is a scar, a bit anticlimactic, but why not, on the biceps in the center. The penultimate 49 instead is much more interesting. A dragon tail to fill the bottom center and provide another thing for the creature to stand on. And finally, for our last body part, number 50. Some robotic elements turning the bottom left shin and calf into a bunch of steel rods. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to design a completely new, extremely fucked up and terrifying creature using Fate. It just goes to show that Fate and random dice rolls are much worse at human design than Darwin's theory of evolution. But that is not all. Yes, we have sketched a character with 50 random body parts, but the drawing is not complete. I mean, look at this. This monster is very cool, but oh so colorless. I can hear you guys in front of your screen, screaming at the top of your lungs, wondering what this creature would look like fully painted in a realistic style. Well, boys and girls and everybody in between, I have painted this beautiful creature. You might just get to see it if you subscribe and tune in next week. Basically, next week the video will be me painting this monstrosity. You could have guessed it because there's part 1 in the title. Anyway, I hope you had a good time, I certainly did, and I can't wait to share part 2 with you. See you in a week. Bye!